Welcome to Dove and Dragon Radio. I'm your host, M.l.Ruscsak. I'm here with Terry. I'm not going to butcher your last name, so I'll let you
Suero. Suero.
Okay. And we're here to get America back to traveling. This is not what I normally do for my podcast. If you follow me every day, and I know a lot of you do, we're doing something a little bit different because really, let's get back to normal. So welcome, Terry. Let's get into a little bit of what you do.
Sure. We are part of a new called grassroots or a movement that's going on right now in the travel industry. We're part of Safe Travel Pathways, which is an organization that is managed by each different global region. And the whole idea behind it is going back to the point of let's treat adults like adults. Let's give open information, let people decide where they want to go. If I want to take high risk on others, that's fine. Let people decide where they want to go, but we need to have real information out there. Mm-hmm. Right now, there's a lot of, right now the big talks are summer plans. Is it too early to start booking my summer plan in Europe? France opened up, it's going to open up, so is Italy. Is it too ready? Is it too late to already plan it? And everybody's excited about it. The reality is a little bit different, we think. One is, yes, it's time to get excited because we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Mm-hmm. We're seeing some of that normality coming in, but there's a lot we still need to do. Right. And we have to be very careful about it because we can also be our own, celebrating too early can actually turn this around to the negative.
Yeah.
What we're seeing right now, which is where Safe Travel Pathways came to be, is that the most important thing we need to do right now is to regain consumers' trust in travel. There's so much misinformation. Nobody knows what's going on. Regulars change. Some people tell you this is safe. Some people say this is not. It's very hard to get to the grain of it. But additionally, one of the biggest issues we have right now is that we have hundreds and hundreds of different safety stamps. Mm-hmm. Some hotel stamps have their own. Some regions have their own.
States, cities, municipalities, hotels, airlines, they're all different. No one has the same rules for everyone.
Correct. Some are really good. Mm-hmm. Some are not so good.
Yeah.
To the point that there was a study done that scarily showed that 70% of those, on average, have never even been audited or checked who gets accredited. It's based on honor systems. Mm-hmm. And we think it's the worst we can do. Right now, absolutely the worst we can do is give consumers a false sense of confidence. Telling somebody something's safe, and when they go there and it's not, that defeats the purpose. Everybody right now is excited about, okay, people are starting to travel, especially the travel agencies and hotels. And, they even talk to, we start staffing again like we used to because there's going to be an onslaught of demand, pent up demand because we were all trapped in COVID. The reality is not yet. And why is a lot of the activity that we're starting to see right now is that 15% in the mm-hmm. U.S. The hardcore travelers, they're going to travel. They're going to find a way to travel. We like to travel. Myself, I'm going to find a way. Part of my life. Mm-hmm. A lot of the audience, they're travelers. So we're the people who can't be used to gauge how much the activity is going. What we really need to, if you want to open travel, is that 60% of Americans who are travelers, but not necessarily hardcore. Mm-hmm. And they're a little concerned. So what happens is we're dealing with two, and this is worldwide, but very clearly in the U.S. also, two different forces or coalitions are going on. One is you have your healthcare push towards keeping safe and, right or wrong, sometimes it's maybe a little too safe at certain times or not. And then you have the other one, which sadly is the one that's gaining more traction now, which is the economy. And they're not necessarily in agreement either, always.
Yeah.
So a perfect example is when we heard last week, Macron announces that France is going to be open for summer. What do we hear immediately after? So they're telling us we're ready to receive tourism. We're ready to receive Americans. Immediately we get from the U.S., all European countries for the most part are level 4s. They're dangerous.
Right.
What we're really seeing there is France wants American dollars. U.S. says, oh, keep the dollars inside the U.S. Travel inside the U.S. We're safer. And that's the part that we have an issue with. It's like we understand there's political and economical motives, and that's fine, and there always will be. But when did it become justifiable to mess up the information? Let consumers know what it is. Let them make educated decisions.
We do. We have to tell the truth to people. We cannot just say, oh no, you can't go there, but you can go to Vegas. Vegas is open.
Yep. Or Florida, for that matter, too.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you can't go to France this year, but we can take your money over here, or you can go down to Atlantic City, or, all these other tourist places that are in the US because they're safe. But we have the same safety as France has.
Well, interesting enough, and this is purely anecdotal because we're also part of a travel agency. We're a tour operator down in Latin America. So one of the things that's happened for us in the industry in general, any travel operator or travel agent for that matter, we're operating blind. If somebody comes to us and tells us, I need a really safe itinerary because, Terry, my wife is really nervous with COVID and I'm dying to travel, so I want to get her convinced to travel. Any one of us would be lying if we tell them, okay, I know exactly a safe trip right now. Because unless we've gone to visit all our hotels and all the people we work with, things have changed. But it was a reality 2 years ago is not there. So we're all making decisions based on our knowledge from 2 years ago, which is not the case anymore. We don't know if a hotel's taking the safe road or not the safe road until you go visit it. Because as we said earlier, the stamps don't mean anything. They could be good, they could be bad. So that's a challenge that we have as a community, as a travel community, is how do we get this information out to them? And anecdotally, what we've seen in our side is that we have been visiting a lot of countries. We've been to France, Portugal, Italy, the Azores, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Mexico, to kind of see how the markets were. And even though as a company, our travel agency part has not been really promoting travel, we don't think it's responsible right now to promote it if they're coming for us for safety. But yeah, we have taken clients who came to us saying, I want to plan a trip, help us, and we did. And this is what's interesting. Out of all our clients and all our staff, bar none, not even one exception, they have felt safer outside the U.S. than inside the U.S. So what we're claiming here is that if you want to reactivate travel, get that 60% of people to take one trip outside the country. One safe trip. Because once you leave, you're like, oh my God, this is okay. It's able to get that leap of faith, and that leap of faith has to happen with something that is educated decisions. Yes, go to Cancun, is it going to be safe? Probably not, but that's my decision. I want to go to Cancun, I don't care. Or I want to go to another part of Mexico that like Baja California, you can go to Todos Santos, and it's super safe. Every restaurant there, they have everything under control. We need to let people decide what they want.
We need adults to be treated like adults. We cannot treat adults like children anymore. It worked last year. Well, that was last year. We need to grow up now.
Yeah, and that's what everybody's. If you look at even all the political movements that's happening now without getting into politics, people are saying, just give us the right information. Just let me treat me like an adult. For travel and for everything, it's just let me know what my health. Let me decide on my health. Let me decide on what I want, but please give me the right information or access to it if I want it. And that's what I think what we're trying to do. And this movement of Sexual Pathways, what it is, I get very excited about this, is right now as a travel operator, it's almost impossible to know what happened in those 2 years. But there are a lot of people who are gone out there and checked them out. Meaning, yes, there's a plethora of stamps, but let's find out what out of those stamps, which are the real ones. So what Safe Pathways does, in essence, is that a property or an operator signs up, and they tell you, okay, I have this stamp, this stamp, this stamp, and this stamp. Well, based on those 5 stamps, the highest one that you have is, the B one,
Mm-hmm.
and that gives you 5 stars for safety. Now, how is that star? So basically, you're almost a clearinghouse of stamps, so that we, as a travel industry, or God forbid, as travelers, don't have to memorize what's Portuguese stamp. Is that a good one or not? Here, it's just a clearinghouse that grades them, lack of a better term, that ranks these stamps in safety, and it's based on 4 basic questions, this is based on the American Healthcare Association quality standards. The first one is based on international accepted standards. Yes or no? If it's not, that's lower scoring.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, is there a governance system? Meaning, of the people who apply, how many got it? How many got in? How many didn't get accepted? Out of those who you have as members, how many got kicked out? So there's something that's governing it. We're not even saying it's governed correctly. Just there's a governance system. The third one, is it audited? And if it is it audited internally? Is it audited externally? Is it a third-party audit? Obviously, third-party is even the highest rating.
Mm-hmm.
And the fourth criteria for this stamp rating is there a system of feedback from the consumer back to the crediting company? So if I'm the traveler and they're not following the guidelines, can I report them? And will actually be taken. So based on those 4 criteria, that creates a star level for that property or that operator. But here's the first step. The step after that is to be able to create a pathway. And what's the pathway is to create at least 1 hotel, 1 transportation company, and 1 local operator, DMC. If you have those 3, you can guarantee the highest level of safety in that area. That does not mean that the consumer has to stay in it. You know what? I feel safe here. I want to go to the restaurant and go to the beach and not wear a mask. Okay, that's fine. That's your decision to leave. Again, treat adults like adults.
Yeah.
I feel comfortable here now, and I'm fine. I'm fine deviating from total high safety and getting a little bit of risk. But that's the notion: is create these kind of bubbles that can give you the safety if you need it, but not you can deviate out of it if you don't want to.
Right. We need to be able to experience life again. We need to be able to travel. We need to also have a safety area for all those people that need the bubbles, that want to travel but want to stay inside of a bubble. We need those.
Yeah, or in and out of the bubble. The worst thing I think you can do right now is, and I'm very risk prone. I like to travel, and most of us travelers are. But if I go to a place, God forbid, I go to a place and I feel really unsafe, I'm not going to enjoy that vacation.
No.
So the idea is okay, at least I have a way to get safe if I want to. And the difference, I think, an analogy is like when you go to restaurants. Now the restaurants opened up in the U.S. There's sometimes, and I've been in restaurants that I'm like, you know what? I don't really feel safe here. I don't want to eat here. I don't feel comfortable. And most other ones I did. But the difference is there, I just leave.
Yeah.
When you're on a trip, you can't just leave. I'm in a city that if I don't feel safe in the city, I'm in Cancun, I don't feel safe there. Well, you shouldn't look. What do you do?
Right.
You have to, so that's the idea, is be able to give people so they can make educated decisions and saying, okay, this has been rated.
Yes, and then we also need a system that's cohesive all over. Like everyone has to follow the same directions. We can't allow, we need to be able to treat adults like adults, but we also need a system that says, okay, we need the safety to be the same everywhere.
Yep. And open communication, same standards, open communication. Now, sadly is this is not going to happen from governments. Because they're trying to bring people to their country. They want money spent there, foreign money especially. And it's not going to happen from the big hotel chains, sadly, because they're all vested. They're all wanting. So this has to be something that's grassroots. We need to, as a travel industry itself, together, small operators, medium operators, say, okay, we're going to hold hands and work together. And you know what? I want to cater for the spring breakers. Great. I want to cater for the ones who are the golden travelers who are very safe. That's fine. Let us all decide what we want to do, but
Mhm.
get that information out. And I think we need to do it ourselves. The governments and the big chains are not going to do it for us.
No, here's
They're
a
too
case in
vested.
point. I was in Reno last October. No one knew I was in Reno except for very few people. I was out there working. Stayed at one hotel. Did not feel safe. Like COVID safe. I mean, security safe. I felt safe, but COVID safe. I didn't feel safe. And it was one of the major hotel chains. Went to a different hotel, smaller chain. Completely at ease there. And as a traveler, I'm allowed to do that. I'm allowed to change hotels. But at the same time, I'm not getting on a plane when I'm working to fly back home because, I have one bag of experience.
And it's the challenge we have is how do we, and we're the travelers, so we're the ones, if
Mhm.
we're feeling uncomfortable in certain areas, somebody who's not that big of a traveler is going to see that much worse.
Yeah,
They're
they're
going to
going
go
to have
back home and saying,
anxiety out here and I'm never going to travel again. And then they get onto the internet, put these bad reviews, and then it taints everything.
yeah, and they're going to go back and say, my friends, oh, don't go to Reno. My God, that place is, and that's the last thing we need.
Yeah.
Interesting enough, when we were in Costa Rica just 2 weeks ago, checking the hotels, one of the biggest concerns they have, and for the most part, a lot of these hotels are doing a phenomenal job. Sometimes, I might say, some of them we went too good a job. I didn't like it; was too safe for me.
Mhm.
I did, but yeah, that's a matter of choice. But in unison, they're telling us this, Terry, we're doing it right. But it's expensive to do it right. This is not cheap. But we're willing to do it because we know this is the future of our industry. We're willing to make that investment. But the dilemma we have right now is to go to another area that's not taken seriously. And all we need in Costa Rica is to have a family come over. They get sick. God forbid somebody dies.
Mhm.
And what gets out there is Costa Rica is not safe. And yes, it's a horrible thing that would have happened. But what we need to get to the consumer saying, hold on, there are safe ways to do it and also not so safe ways to do it. And it's a better choice. It's almost like the vaccine dilemma that we have in the U.S. Some people want to get vaccinated, some people don't. But the reality is, if you don't get vaccinated and they get COVID, then you can't really complain because you made that choice not to do it. The same thing with this, and they're saying, something like that horribly would happen in Costa Rica. They wouldn't be able to say, yes, but the travelers chose to go to an area that is, risk prone, that they're not doing all the protocols, as opposed to if they had done the other one, they probably would not have gone through that. And that's the dilemma that these hotels are facing: is do we do it? Do we invest all these things in doing it right? When at the same time we're tied to the whole country. What do we do? And they're looking for a way to differentiate themselves also, or differentiate the country. Going back to, again, what you mentioned earlier, going to Vegas and go to casinos, yeah, there's going to be higher risk. Now, they're doing a good job in many of the hotels. But it's a matter of how comfortable you are with the risk you're taking. If you go in there and, God forbid, you do get COVID, I was in the casino with a lot of people around me. I as an inherent risk that I realize I'm taking.
Yeah, I'm taking the risk for myself. It's not, oh, I'm going to spread it. No, I'm not sick, so I'm traveling. I cannot be responsible for the other people around me, but I'm responsible for my own safety. It's up to me as an adult to say, okay, I want to travel.
Yeah, and I'm willing to take this level of risk.
Mhm.
Because, okay, I'm going to a place that's crowded, there's a lot of people. I'm hoping that nobody is sick, that everybody's following the same things I'm doing. But you know what? Yeah, there's going to be a risk as opposed to if I go to, top of the Everest, and there's my Everest probably a bad example, but the top of a mountain where there's nobody there. Yeah, that's the safest. Nobody around you.
Yeah.
You can go to the jungle, the same thing. But let's decide. It's a matter of how much risk you want to take. And the reality is that the more we start traveling, we start seeing what's out there, the more two things happen. One is the more we're able to assess what we like and what we want at this moment. Because
Mhm.
also what we think we like in travel might have changed in the last 2 years. It's almost like the example you said when you were in Reno. If you were at that hotel 5 years ago, you might have felt fine. But
Probably.
we've changed. Humans have changed. We've changed,
Mhm.
and there's nothing wrong with that. And some have changed more than others. It's okay. So we just need to get people to go out there and be able to assess the travel they like, but be able to come back and talk about it openly with their peers and saying, you know what, I know you like to travel. You love this place, and that's why the key thing is we need to stop giving false sense of security. That's the worst thing we can do. These fake stamps out there, and there's many of them, are the worst thing. Starting with the fact that if a stamp is not audited, garbage. Don't tell me you're doing it right, and then I'll give you your safe stamp. No, you gotta show me you're doing it right. And
Right.
that's the key
If
thing
you're
is,
going to have your employees wear masks, have them wear the mask properly.
mhm,
If you're going to say you're going to wipe down everything after every transaction, wipe it down after every transaction. You can't just say, oh, we're doing it, and then not do it.
yeah,
It's just, you have to do what you say you're doing to have the consumer come to you and say it's safe. Now it's up to
right,
us if we want to go to you and trust that you're doing it safe as a consumer. It's up to us to decide if we want to eat out of the restaurant where the person has their mask half down and whatever.
yeah. But that's our choice if we
Yeah,
want to do it or not.
yeah,
But let me know what's going on.
exactly. Just tell us the truth. Let us as the consumer know the truth.
Like I'll tell you from my perspective. If you were to tell me, Terry, this is gorgeous beach, but you have to wear a mask when you're in the beach, I probably won't like it. No, I'm in the beach. I want to be able to take
Mhm.
my mask out and go swimming and tan. But that's my decision. Now, other people might be, but that might be what they want, and that's okay. It's okay to what you want, but just let me know what I'm getting,
Mhm.
because I'll be upset if I go to a beach and I'm being forced to wear a mask, and I wasn't told I was going to have to wear a mask when I go swimming. But I would also be really upset if I go to the beach and it's crowded with all these people. They're bringing boats in. That would also be. So it's again, going back to open information. Let people just, like you keep on saying, is treat adults like adults. It's not
Mhm.
that hard, and it's not only not hard. It's the right thing
Mhm.
to do.
It is. We can't live in a nanny state. We
No.
cannot live on the government saying, don't do this, children, don't do that, children. Well, we're not children, we're adults. We're
Mm-hmm.
entitled to the proper information.
Yep. It's really not rocket science. This is so funny. This is going back to the basics of treat adults like adults. Be honest.
Yeah, it's not a big thing to think about, really. It's treat adults like adults. Stop treating us like we're four.
Mm-hmm.
I am an autistic daughter. I treat with more information than the government tells us that we have.
Yeah. And God forbid this crazy notion of being honest.
Mhm. Yeah, but
Um, yeah.
anyways, we're almost out of time. So where can our listeners and our viewers find more about what you do, and how can they
Mhm.
find more information on what travel is safe, really safe, and not just
Well,
on the
for
other
the
stuff?
first, the first tool is go to www.safe travel pathways. And now this is, as I said, a grassroots organization that's starting off. It's going to be launching Costa Rica in the next week, and I believe the next regions coming in is France. So it's starting to spread right now. It's really the beginnings. And I would just look at what's going on there, but also start asking your travel agencies or if you're a travel agent, your operators, you know, let me check these properties out. Are they part of Safe Travel Pathways? Is there a way I can look at how safe they are and what level of safety they are or what kind of clients are good for them? But us demanding that and using that tool, it'll start forcing people to do it, basically. Um, so as advocates, both as consumers and industry operators, that's what we need to do. Start demanding open information. Don't market me. Don't. Is there an easy way to find out how safe my itinerary is? And that's Safe Travel Pathways. It's simple and clear. It's not biased. Anybody can sign up. Any stamp company can sign up, and it's based on and they know it's those 4 questions. Based on those 4 questions, you get the 5 stars or the 1 star or anything in between.
Mhm.
And not to say that a 2 star is bad. For some travelers, that's what they want, and
Some
that's
of our
fine.
risk takers want that 1 star.
Yeah.
Really.
You know what?
There are those are the ones that love to jump out of airplanes and go climb Mount Everest and stuff like this. They want that risk.
Or like to go to a spring break and party and drink funnels at the beach. That's fine. It's yeah, we're all adults. There's no right or wrong behind this, but let people know what they're getting themselves into. That's the whole point. So yeah.
Yeah, it's that simple, people. Listen, it's really, really, really that simple. It's your choice to make.
Yep.
But thank you so much for being on the show today. It was very
Thank
fun,
you.
and hopefully the listeners listen, because we need to get back to normal.
And we need to do it. We need to be the ones who force this to happen. It's not going to happen if we don't do it.
No, we won't. But thank you so much. And for our
Thank you.
listeners, have a wonderful day and happy traveling.